So, happy Monday, everyone. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I certainly did. Saturday, I attended my first ever Measurecamp Amsterdam, and I have to say, I'm still buzzing. That was some day. Early that morning, I actually recorded a short video in the car on my way to the event. I always feel a little bit awkward doing these things, talking to myself in the car and trying to maintain sense of the traffic. But it felt like a good moment to capture some thoughts. I mean, at home, I was able to make some more sense of my gibberish, and here we are, my brief newbie review of Measurecamp 2025. Measurecamp had been on my radar for a while, and this was finally the year I went. It's thanks to my good friend Kevin Svelson. Kevin's been a part of the committee for 8 years and has been gently nudging me to attend. And after claiming that committee members had their own unique swag, so-called Measurecamp Amsterdam socks, I know I had to go and check it out for myself. If they are a myth or really exist, stick around to the end and find out. I've been to more than a few events over the span of my career. Web Analytics Wednesdays, DDMAs, Emerse, even Segment's Signal event in London, Jim Stern's Marketing Analytics Summits. But at some point, though, conferences started to feel a little bit stale. You hear the same talks, the same messages, and even though I kept learning bits and pieces, the excitement faded. It's like buying the CD, wearing the t-shirt and hearing the soundtrack on repeat. At some point, you need something fresh. But Measurecamp, different vibe entirely. It's an unconference, meaning there's no fixed agenda in advance, no top-down keynote schedule, there are no vendors setting the rules. Attendees bring their own topics, post them on a board, and just like that, the day shapes itself. That freshness, that community-first approach is exactly what our field needs. On the drive there, I shared my hopes for the day. I was looking forward to reconnecting with the analytics community, which I hadn't been really active in for a while. I mean, I started out over 20 years ago as an analyst, joined the Web Analytics Association, which later became the DAA. And over time, I shifted into feedback tools, UX research, and then when I started to realize how poor data quality was in general, deeper into marketing tech. Mainly Tag Management and Google Tag Manager opened that door for me. But I cannot forget my first, Tag Man. So a shout out to Paul Cook for sparking that curiosity many, many years ago. So yes, I was excited for the unconference, and rightly so. Measurecamp lived up to the hype. One thing that kept coming up, and I am going to plug this here, therapy. Yep. So there was one session around analytics therapy, but I also heard marketing therapy. I mean, frustration with data is real, and the need for new kind of leadership, people who understand that data is a product, is growing louder. We need that mindset shift today. I joined a session by Jenny Bachman from Morstad, which was focused on bridging the gap between developers and marketers. It was a high-level workshop on helping developers understand some of the intricacies of implementing Google Analytics through Google Tag Manager. The session wasn't what I was expecting, but hey, conference risks. I was hoping to hear about experiences and practical examples in closing that gap. How do we get both teams motivated about what they do? How do they get the most from the collaboration opportunities? For me, empathy is the name of the game there. Siloed teams keep failing businesses, and the age of gut feeling, that's long gone. There was even a session on building your own tracking solution. I mean, is that where we're headed? Control over convenience? Opening up the black box that's been closed for too long? Kudos to the guys from Relevant Online for sharing their journey in building their tracking solution. It's a prime example of data democratization, but not for everyone. The panel discussion on data quality really stood out. Glenn Verlinden from Human 37, Stefania Olofsdotter from Avo, and Peter O'Neill from Decathlon, and by the way, the founder of Measurecamp, brought powerful insights. Peter made a point that hit home. Even in large companies like Decathlon, people still have widely different definitions of what data actually means, and getting people aligned is a monumental task. Glenn added that while there are companies hiring chief AI officers, most stick their heads in the sand when the role of chief data quality officer is mentioned. I mean, without ownership, there's no progress. Data quality touches everything and everyone. But upstream changes, they tread on toes and egos. But we can't ignore the fact that those upstream changes are more time and resource effective than downstream. Another strong idea came from Janis de Visser. He's the director over at Cloud9 Digital. He spoke about data as a product too, but focus on what he calls the organization data layer, a kind of mesh that sits between your collection platforms and your business tools, from CRMs to ERPs to PIMs to warehouses. Teams keep their tools, but shop centrally. I like that framing. It's definitely something I want to dive into a little bit more myself. But honestly, the best part of the day was the people. I met and caught up with industry friends, some who I'd not seen in over a decade. I made new connections too, many of whom I'd already connected with on LinkedIn, ironically. But anyway, during the lunch, I recorded a podcast episode for Couch Confidentials with Avo CEO Stefania in the sun right there in Southeast Amsterdam. A walk and talk, if you will. Very spontaneous, very special, and I'll be uploading that episode pretty soon. Oh, and me and my team won the unPub quiz. Well, after a bit of confusion though. Our team name was nearly identical to another team, and they claimed the win at first, but after a good old data quality check, turns out we were the real winners. Even funnier, we won against the Avo team. Sweet irony. And the prize? Tickets to next year's Measurecamp Amsterdam. And I'm going, no doubt. But this time, I'm not just attending, I'm participating. I'm running to that session board and pitching a talk. Time to give back. A heartfelt and humble thank you to the entire Measurecamp Amsterdam crew. What you created wasn't just an event, it was a selfless act of community building, learning, and inspiration. The time, care, and sheer commitment it takes to organize something like this, on a volunteer basis no less, is nothing short of extraordinary. You made the space for genuine conversations, authentic connections, and real growth. And in doing so, you didn't just serve today's practitioners. You laid the foundation for future generations of data professionals by bringing everyone together in a safe and open environment. Events like these don't just reflect the present state of our industry, they shape its future. If there's one unconference that truly embodies the spirit of progress, collaboration, and inclusion in our field, it's Measurecamp. And I feel lucky to have finally been a part of it. Oh, and Kevin, you were right. There are Measurecamp Amsterdam socks. Thanks for watching.